Welcome home, Raiders. This week we'll check out the latest from the Legion Alpha, take your questions, and Hearthstone is actually getting a little wild. All that, the Battlenet news, and so much more. This is Convert to Raid number 209.
You're listening to Convert to Raid, the podcast for Raiders in the World of Warcraft.
Convert to Raid podcast power station in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today is February 2nd. Happy Groundhogger Day, everybody. Yep, stupid, I know. But it's February 2nd, 2016, and it is now 9:10 in the p.m. And thanks for joining us from all around World of Warcraft land. And hello, my name is Pat Crane. I am the host of this little show, this little WoW show and Blizzard show. And the players are here, as always, so let's get to them. First up, he's back from PAX. It's Darius.
I am back. Did you miss me? I was in Texas last week for PAX, so my last PAX, probably. But
how was Texas?
It was so warm, I miss it. It was 85 the day I left.
Oh, man.
Oh, it was good. I was in San Antonio. San Antonio is a nice city. The Riverwalk and all that kind of stuff.
Well, but now you're in California, so stop complaining.
There's nothing good about California.
There's a bunch of stuff that's good about California. There is. Just deal with it.
I don't think you've been to California
Let's
before.
Get to the other folks of the show. From Line of Sight Gaming, we also have with us Tattva. Hey, buddy.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
Not much. How are you?
I'm so good.
You are so
good.
It's
been a good day. It's been a good day. And it's not as warm as Darius was experiencing.
No.
It's freezing cold. It's like it's outside in 10-degree weather all day. Well, not all day. Half a day. I got to take off early today.
I love the winter, though. And also from Adults with Jobs, and he's one of the Aspera guys, it's Sharku.
Hey, guys. I'm sitting here enjoying spring. It's here now, apparently. We had about a weekend of all of winter here in North Carolina on the East Coast. And it was just all of winter in one weekend. It snowed for 700 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, 60 degrees outside or something absolutely ridiculous.
That's awesome.
It's not that warm, but it is insane. I have no idea what's happening with the weather.
You look like the type of person who would be qualified to talk about the mountains in North Carolina.
Well, that's what I mean.
He's Mad Jack.
I teach at a university whose mascot are the Mountaineers. So I mean, they let me do the mascot sometimes when he's sick. They don't even have me dress up. I just walk out and
Sharku is the Revenant.
That's our battle cry. Is
Sharku was the bear in the Revenant. That's what it was.
He
played the bear. That was it.
I wish I had Revenant money. That'd be awesome. I'd do that any day.
Well, welcome, fellas, and thanks for joining us for in the chat room, at home, wherever you are, at your commute. Which is, hopefully you're not. Hopefully this show is saving you from your commute a little bit, right? Right. And
make sure you turn the video off if you're driving.
Yeah, no video if you're driving.
Yeah, that's important to note.
That's it. But let's talk a little. Let's just get into the show. What have we been doing this week? Darius, you just got back from PAX. So have you been doing anything in game at all this week?
In WoW, not too much. Because of PAX, I missed most of last week and this weekend. So I haven't been doing a whole lot. I played a lot of the Division, but not a whole lot of WoW. Played some Diablo a little bit, but I just haven't had bedtime because I've been away at PAX. Likely my last PAX. That was my 15th PAX.
Wow.
And likely my last one.
But you're not. But now you're just switching gigs.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing PAX anymore, but you're doing a bunch of other stuff. So
yeah, I'm now doing Intel Extreme Masters, all those tournaments around the world, and DreamHack Austin and DreamHack in Sweden. And,
that's awesome. You can hang out with Trekkie and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. So, speaking of which,
I
will be in Ireland, in Dublin, for 4 days at the end of February from the 26th to the 29th if we have any listeners there and they want to hang out. And then I will be in Katowice, Poland for 8 days after that if we have any listeners out there and they want to hang out.
Right. Because who doesn't just want to hang out in Poland?
Yeah, Katowice even.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, I hope I'm saying that right. I assume that
you're totally slaughtering it. It's fine.
But I'm going to be in Dublin for 4 days, just kind of being a tourist. So if we have anyone out there that wants to hang out, I'll be around.
Awesome. Shark buddy, how about you? What have you been doing this week?
Rocking and rolling and whatnot. To Hardcore's had a good week. We're living up to our name a little bit. The name originally was kind of a joke because we're admittedly very casual team. We only raid one night a week, but we have downed 2 heroic bosses already. Moved to heroics this week and got down the where is it?
I had it for you.
It's okay.
I had it ready for you, and then I realized that my volume was down.
You may cut. We're gonna go back to 1.
No.
So to Hardcore's has been.
Hold on a sec. I have something for that.
What?
For you going back. All right. So you got down a couple of bosses. You got down a couple of bosses in heroic.
We got down the first 2 bosses in heroic. We farmed we're Archimond again. It took us about 10 tries to get him on our second time.
Sure.
Second week attempt. So there's that. But WoW is good. It's doing good. I have my 2-piece now.
Hey, congratulations on that one.
Last week I didn't even have 1. Now I have my 2-piece.
Awesome.
So
when did you guys start up into Hardcores? How long have you guys been going? Because it's not that long.
I don't know. I think it was
before the holidays.
It was just before BlizzCon, I think. I want to say late October. So
right. You've got people doing alt runs and people that haven't been raiding before, and I'm guessing
right, exactly. We got a few people that are alts, a few new people that are just getting into raiding, and
cool.
And right now recruitment is sort of loosely open. If anybody out there is looking for a raid team, you can check out our website on the CTR page, or our page on the CTR website.
Right.
If you think it'd be a good fit for you, it'd be really cool. Not really looking for tanks, but anything else interesting prospects, we might be able to fit you in.
The Guatemalan in the chat room just said Sharku in a 2-piece.
Sharku in a
no.
That means
I like that. That's awesome.
I mean, I'll do it for money.
Right. Or for fun, for a laugh, you'll do it because you are a professional comedian, right?
I am. Well, but professional implies getting paid. So
you got a beer. Come on, we talked about this a couple times ago.
That's true. But one more thing.
yeah.
Fun. I am planning a CTR meetup in Charlotte on June 11th, which is the weekend the WoW movie comes out.
Oh yeah.
So folks that are in the Charlotte, North Carolina area or around the Southeast, I would love for it to be not a huge event, but kind of a big event. If you want to spend the whole day, maybe do some shopping at Concord Mills, I'd like to rent out a room at Dave & Buster's and spend a few hours there, and then all go see the movie together that night. So if you're interested in that, hit me up on Twitter. I have a poll going to see if anybody's interested. I'd love to know how many people are interested in doing that.
Very cool.
The more people that are interested, the bigger we can get it. So let me know what's going on there and save the date, man. I would love for it to be a big, awesome Southeast together.
And I know that there are a lot of people that are planning on doing either WoW meetups, or they're planning on doing something bigger for the movie. I know that we're planning on doing something in the Twin Cities area in Minneapolis. Myself and Jewel Scott and Darius, you were talking about maybe coming out, maybe.
Yeah, I'm going to try. If I'm not in a foreign country, I'm going to try to go.
If you're not stuck in Poland still.
Yeah, might be in Sweden, but yeah.
What really inspired me to do this too is I've always wanted to go to the Minnesota meetup. Every year you guys have had it. Even before I was on the show, I'm
fun.
I want to go so bad. That sounds like so much fun. And I've talked to people that have actually been there, and it's just been such a blast. And it's just so far away from where I live. So I'm like, well, why not do one here? I'm sure other people have felt the same way. So if you are in the Southeast United States, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia,
And
around that area. Charlotte's not too far away from you, so if you can make it out, we'd love to see you.
It's gonna be a big deal, man. When that movie comes out, that's gonna be huge.
I think it's gonna be
for
huge.
all
and
the WoW nerds, man.
I'm talking to the guy from Dave and Buster's, and they've got some really cool stuff depending on how many people we can get and how much we can raise for the event. So it could be really, really awesome. So let's do this. Let's make it happen.
Very cool. Very cool. Tattva, man, let's get to you. What have you been doing in game lately?
Been playing the heck out of some Legion Alpha, basically.
Well, we'll talk about that in the Raiden news, and I definitely want to hear more about what you've been doing there because it's the Alpha is pretty cool. I'm digging that. I'm digging.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun. But yeah, that's basically occupied the last weekend. I've been playing the heck out of it.
Nice.
But yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun. Oh, and then as well, just in like real life version of gaming, like I'm involved with that. We're trying to like build a SLC esport community, and we've been doing CS:GO tournaments or whatever. And so we're actually in the building process of the LAN center and all that kind of stuff. So if you're around Salt Lake and like CS:GO or Heroes, we'll start doing Heroes tournaments in like March, I think.
Yep.
But
you should really talk to Scott Johnson. Because, I mean, seriously, you should just call him up. Just ring him up. Hello. And because he's totally cool. He's an awesome guy. Yeah. And he would be more than happy to, I'm guessing, he loves Heroes. We know that much, too. So, I mean, it's a slam
I have him on
dude.
speed dial. Let me just pull him into the call right now.
I did email him about it a while ago, basically right after BlizzCon, but I haven't talked to him much since. But now that the LAN center's still like going to be up and running, it will be probably a little bit more legit. Like there's actually this cool video that we posted of, we got this guy that can like spray paint stuff, and he's coming in and like tagging a bunch of characters on the wall. Like he did a time lapse of him tagging Artanis on the wall, and you can see Tyrael in the background sketched out and stuff. It's kind of legit. It's going to be cool.
Where is that? I want to see that.
Wow, that's cool, man.
Love time lapse stuff. Is that on your tweeters?
It's Facebook. I'll link it.
Thank you.
You should tweet it out as well, and then everybody can see it at LOS_gaming.
Yeah.
And then everybody can go there and check it out.
Loss Gaming.
_gaming. Don't forget the underscore.
It's
underscore.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually Spanish. It's pronounced Los Gaming.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Meaning
Spanish.
the gaming. The plural gaming.
Oh, God. All right. A couple of things.
Kobo loves that joke.
Everybody loves that joke.
It's Los
It's not old at all or anything. Nope, not at all. All right, a couple of things before we get into the show part of the show. First of all, we've been talking about it the last couple of weeks, but I just want to make sure that everybody knows out there that you can join our Discord, which is text chat and voice chat application. It's really, really cool, and we're doing it for a bunch of things you can talk about. I mean, we have rooms for Warcraft and for Heroes and Hearthstone and for raiding and for, I don't even know what. General stuff, and it's getting pretty busy over there, and I'm liking it. I'm liking seeing all the people over there chatting with each other and making a brand new community. And it doesn't matter. You don't have to be a part of the CTR Guild. You don't have to play in the United States. You don't have to be Alliance.
You don't even have to be human.
Well, I think human would be good.
I don't know. My cat uses it from time to time.
Yeah,
that's all right.
It's true.
But all you need to do is just go to discord.converttoraid.com. That's the URL. Throw that up in your browser of choice, and you should be whisked away to our Discord server, and where you can set it all up and say hi. Please do. Jerry's anything else on Discord? I know you're the big Discord guy around here.
No, I'd say that about covers it.
Okay, all right.
You got just about everything.
And the other thing that I wanted to do this week, and it's something a little bit new. I want to get your opinions on this, but I want to do a community calendar of events. I want to start this up. Just a couple of quick events, and I have music. There we go.
I love it.
There we go. So, for the community calendar this week, what we have is CTR Guild on Airy Peak, US. Alliance, of course. We have a Heroic Mogashan Vaults Achievement Run, and that's going to be happening this Sunday, February 7th, starting at 12:30 p.m. Pacific. And so you can check all that stuff out at guild.converttораid.com as far as all the specifics on that. The other thing that we're doing, we're actually teaming up with the AIE Guild or the AIE Guild is teaming up with us because it is AIE's 9th anniversary, and I think that deserves big applause.
They're old.
They've been around a while. They've been around the block a little bit, but we're actually going to be teaming up with them for what they call the running of the beef. What you do is you make a level 1 toon and you go and run and you try to make an attempt at for the Horde or for the Alliance with these level 1 characters. You just basically run and try to make it. Most people don't, but then you're also surrounded by people at level that will help you along the way. And this time around, it's gnomes versus trolls, where you're starting a level 1, and this is actually going to be on Airy Peak US, Alliance side, of course, because it's gnomes. So you start a level 1 gnome, gather up with a group, and have a lot of fun. So that's going to be Saturday, February 13th, starting at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. 11:30.
So early.
Well, it's 11:30 Eastern. It's a Saturday. You can do it. But make sure to check the Twitter at AIE_wow. That's the AIE's Twitter account. So check that out, and should be good to go. And if your guild has a big event that you'd like us to talk about, just send a note to the show at converttораid@gmail.com. We'll try to do what we can to get the word out for you. But I thought that this would be nice. Do a little community thing.
I like it.
I like it too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'm going to
feel bad for I feel bad for AIE though.
Why?
Because they're doing this on the Airy Peak server, right?
Yeah, they decided to team up with us. It's kind of like
it's like 90% Alliance. They're going to get slaughtered.
No, but they start a gnome. That's the deal. They're
going to be gnomes.
They're going to be gnomes. Everybody's going to be a gnome, so it's fine. Everybody's going to be a gnome. Then they go and they try to beat up. Then they try to beat up. I thought we were like
racing them or something. Like we're doing it at the same
everybody's
time.
working together to get everybody to
well,
Vol'jin.
That's a different story.
I
like it, except for I have to play a gnome.
Well. You don't have to, I guess. But.
I told you my only gnome character is my warlock, so I would absolutely never play him, right? Because I hate both gnomes and warlock, but they kind of cancel each other out. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Positive?
Yes.
It makes sense to nobody.
It makes
sense.
All right, well, let's get...
We play either class is by them negating each other.
Let's get into the raid news.
Calling all raiders from around World of Warcraft land. This is raiding news.
All right, it's time for the news for raiders around World of Warcraft land, and of course, World of Warcraft land right now is it's not really a thing. Hold on one second. There we go. There, I got the video back. There's not a lot of news going on for World of Warcraft. There's a lot to do in the game. We're doing things in the game, but really the only thing that's new is the alpha. And Tattva, you've been playing the alpha a lot. Look at that. So
I've probably gone through so there's 3 zones open.
Yeah.
And I've probably completely gone through the quest line in each zone probably like 5 times or something.
Wow.
I imagine. Yeah.
That's a lot.
So I know those 3 zones pretty well.
I bet. I just actually went through Stormheim today for the first time. And that was pretty cool. I think I went through the couple of little, this isn't really lore spoilers or anything like that, but you just go into a scenario in the first part.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been through the scenario once or twice, or a couple of times, I should say. But then after that, I hadn't done like the actual zone part. So, that was kind of cool going through there. Very Wrath, very, Northrend feel to it. And
Grizzly Hills.
Oh,
Grizzly
so
Hills.
Beautiful.
Oh, so cool.
Did you make it all the way through?
No, I made
very
it.
End.
No, I didn't make it to the very end. I started making my way through. I was doing that today on a live stream, and I played for like a couple of hours. So,
did you make it into Helheim?
No.
Quest chain? Okay.
No. Am I really missing out?
Well, like as compared to the other zones, like comparatively, Stormheim starts out kind of slow, and it's just kind of like, yeah, it's a gorgeous area. Like, it's amazing and all that kind of stuff. There's cool storyline going on and all that, but compared to the other areas, it seems to like start out in a crawl kind of, but by the end, like when you make it down to Helheim or whatever, it's awesome. It's so cool.
Good.
Very cool.
I'm looking forward to it, man. So Tattva, how many different classes have you played through?
I've played a bunch.
Yeah.
I've over the weekend, over this past week, I've mainly been kind of messing around on the mage. Only Fire Mage is available right now, but so Fire Maging it up. They're like extremely overpowered in the alpha right now because there's a few reasons, but mainly due to one of the artifact talents that it has. They're kind of gaming that system. And basically, every time you crit, it increases your crit damage by 15%. But you can if you can play it right, you can maintain that crit bonus, and it can stack up to 20 times. And so
oh wow.
And so the high end guilds that are doing raid testing and stuff, people have probably seen them, but they'll post damage meters, and it's just like mages are literally double second place, or whoever's closest, they're literally double the damage just because of this little weird gimmick. I mean, it'll be fixed. They're not balancing yet, but
yeah, right.
It's kind of hilarious, just pyroblasting nonstop.
It's funny seeing anything in alpha because you'll just go, yeah, that isn't even a thing. That won't be a thing later.
Yeah,
enjoy it now because it won't last. Oh man,
we were almost there on Blast Furnace for a little while. Fire mages, we were. There was a couple pulls that me and Burdens were like 3 times higher than everybody else because we're so great.
Yeah, especially
firing things.
Oh,
yeah, same. They're doing it. They're super overpowered single target as well as cleaving. But if there are mobs, if there's trash or whatever adds in the fight, they just skyrocket.
It just gets even bigger.
Wow.
It's insane the way combustion works now, and it's mainly that crit damage and artifact weapon. And yeah, it's pretty fun though.
Right,
pretty fun.
Right, and it won't continue into the live, but that's okay. Probably.
Yes. They'll be strong. I imagine they'll still
bring
be strong.
everybody else up.
So
no, they'll need to bring them down, but they'll just do that through some percentage.
They don't need to bring them down, Tattva. Don't put that in their mind.
They don't need to bring them down. Screw it. No. Why would they do that? Everybody loves a mage.
Everybody loves a mage.
Well, the damage meters, they're at 400,000 DPS or something right now.
Which is about where they should be. I mean, when I think about, it should be over 9,000. I know that much.
Okay.
My brain.
I love how things that I say can completely derail the show. The show stops for 5 seconds, and everyone there's silence, and people are listening to their phone, going, "Am I getting a phone call? What is the show cut out? Or is it over? Did he cut the feed?
No,
maybe he should have."
Right.
Yeah.
So, Darius, you probably haven't been playing too much alpha because you've been out this last week, right?
I haven't played a whole lot of the alpha this week. No, I logged in a couple times to play my Disc Priest a little bit more, but I haven't done anything.
Still feeling awesome on the Disc Priest?
I am.
As far as you know,
there were a few nerfs or balances, I guess you could say, to Disc Priest early in the week, and I messaged Celestalon about them and let him know how angry I am with him, and he just smiled.
Anytime that Darius is angry with one of the devs, I smile because I just know that only means good things for everybody else, myself included. So it's good. It's good. Shark, have you been doing anything alpha this week?
I didn't get much in the alpha this week. No, okay. Like I was talking about last week, I tried to. I'm trying to balance my alpha time. Yeah, and I don't. What I'm afraid of too is getting burned out. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm trying to stay in game right now with my raid team and really be working on that stuff. And I don't want to lose. My favorite part about playing this game is the 2 weeks after an expansion, where everybody's playing every free moment they have. We're all leveling up together. We're getting into dungeons together. that's just always been my favorite experience. And then also the 2 weeks after a new raid opens is just so much fun. So I don't want to ruin that, but I am trying to get in a little bit. I was playing a little mage before, not this week, but playing some fire mage, trying to play some demon hunter,
right?
And get some information there. And so far, everything looks really, really cool.
Yeah, and I think for the most part, when I try to play alpha too, is like I'll go into the zone and kind of get a feel for it. Not necessarily finish everything, not necessarily try to be a completionist or anything like that. I mean, Helheim sounds really great, Tattva, but at the same time, I'm not really driven to go all the way to like push my way through the zone just to get to the end, because I don't need to complete it on right now. I want to complete it later when it's like meaningful.
Yeah. Well, one of the interesting like thoughts whatever. All my thoughts are super interesting, of course. But anyways, Shark like that one. Oh,
I mean,
anyways,
right?
That was me.
That was Pat.
Really? He did a Shark.
Oh, he did a Shark.
Oh awesome. Man,
I'm sitting here thinking it wasn't that funny.
You had me leaning back. I was rolling. All right.
But anyways, like this is I'm pretty sure this is my first beta alpha experience in WoW yet, I think. I'm pretty sure. Okay. Anyways, and so like what Shark's talking about, like servers go live, everyone's super excited to play the game and just get to the dungeons, get to cap, prep for raids. I mean, I've always been a raider, and so it's always this mad dash to get to cap. And I think everyone kind of feels that. I mean, everyone's not necessarily like, I'm going to race, I'm going to be one of the first. I mean, of course, that's not someone's thought, but I think just that initial release, everyone going for it, it kind of speeds you up. And so it's been awesome in the beta to actually slow it down, read all the quest text, like experience the story, because guaranteed, as soon as that launches, I'm accept, turn in, run, what do I have to kill now? And just go. And so it's been super awesome to like get the full story, explore the areas. And one of the cool things that they've done with this expansion is the area quest lines, like they lead you into the 5-man dungeons that exist. I mean, that's happened in the past, but I don't think to this degree though. Like gotcha. It seems like each area, the capstone quest for every area is go into this dungeon, kill this guy or whatever. And so, I mean, but the story it tells to lead you into these dungeons, it's really awesome. And I've actually appreciated the opportunity to experience the story. Like, I've always been kind of a lore nerd anyways, and I try to read the quests and all that kind of stuff just so I know the story. But it's just been nice not having that, I got to get to 110 right now, thought in the back of my head.
Right.
So that's been awesome. It really has been cool to experience that.
Cool. One of the things that I try to do, especially during the alpha, beta, PTR times, whatever it is try to figure out classes. I mean, that's kind of always my big thing, especially for a new expansion. Like, I mean, they always just change them so much that I'm like, okay, what's new? What's different? I mean, like Resto Druid right now is pretty much the same as it's always been. And they even said that they weren't changing it very much. I mean, like little things here and there, but not really a lot. I mean, Elemental Shaman, they didn't really change a lot. They thought that gameplay was pretty okay. I mean, totems switched around a lot, but nothing else, not really. And so, I've been checking out like Survival Hunter and Demon Hunter, anything with Hunter in it. Really, I checked out Marks for a little bit too, because that's changing, and that was pretty good. Marks was okay. Demon Hunter's pretty sweet, and once you get into those zones, man, you can really rip it up. So it's pretty cool. I made it through the end of the Demon Hunter zone finally, and they fixed the elevator. We were talking about this last week, weren't we, Shark?
Yeah.
So So they fixed the elevator, and now you can actually finish the starting zone.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hop in and do that because I was really I was there for like 10 minutes, like waiting for the elevator to work. So
I logged in and I go, "Is it there? Is it there?" And I looked up and I went, "Oh yeah, there it is, man! Awesome!" So And I just wanted to get out in the world, man, and just kind of check it out. So it was nice.
I really do want to kind of feel out how the Vengeance tanks play, because that's something they just released in this last iteration of the alpha.
Right.
So yeah, I might jump in there, and you can get on your druid that actually heals now, right?
Yep. I could.
This priest is going to snipe your heals. Are you sure?
Not anymore. I don't think so. Anyway. But yeah, this week they actually released Subtlety Rogue, Arms Warrior, Resto Shaman, and what else? Neltharian's Lair is the new dungeon that has been released on the alpha. Anyway, so you'll be seeing these more and more. If you're watching videos about the alpha or watching streamers, you'll see more and more of this stuff, and we'll be talking about it on the show as we go through this stuff as we can. We're not going to go deep in depth into anything that we haven't experienced ourselves, because what's the point? But
they released more, right? Is it just Neltharian's Lair, or were the other ones earlier?
Vault of the Wardens and Violet Hold, I think, were last week.
Mm-hmm.
And
Darkheart Thicket's pretty old too.
Yeah. And I think
they haven't come out with anything since last week, have they?
There's a lot of dungeons available now.
Are there?
Yeah. I think there's like 6 or...
I know that we've done... I know that Tattva, you and Darius, myself, and Tovo, and somebody else went through and did a bunch of different dungeons. Or maybe it was just the 4 of us, and we picked up somebody along the way.
No, we 4-manned it, remember?
Yeah, that's true. Tattva, how are the dungeons feeling overall for you, as long as we're on the subject? I mean, the dungeons are great. Like, I mean, right now it's in like only normal is available, and so it's fairly steamroll. But I mean, that's going to pick up with the heroic modes. Heroic mode will add, like, each boss will have additional abilities. The trash will hurt harder. You can't just like pull the entire dungeon basically. Right.
But
well, you got to get and it's not like we can get gear upgrades from the normal stuff anyway, because you have to be level 110 and you can only get up to level 108 right now. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you need the gear, but you can't wear the gear, so we're stuck doing normals, which is fine. It's great, and it's great to see these. There's some really cool looking dungeons, though.
Yeah, there's some amazing dungeons, and also one of the cool things too is like, there's quite a few of them that you actually experience outside of the dungeon, like Halls of Valor, that like you go into the dungeon, it's like its own specific dungeon, but it's actually literally the warrior class hall. Like Halls of Valor is the warrior class hall, but it also is the dungeon as well. So it's just pretty interesting how, and then Vault of the Wardens, that's the Demon Hunter starting experience. So like if you play a Demon Hunter and you do that, you have to do that, kill that dude in the frost and then do the mirror guy. Like those are actual bosses in the dungeon. And Vault of the Wardens, that last boss, Cordana, you fight Cordana. Oh my gosh. You die to Cordana basically is what happens. Like that's what happens in that fight.
No, you die a lot? No, come on.
Oh man, it's rough. It's so rough. I don't know if it's a tuning thing right now, but you get this like little light thing that you have to like toss around and reveal these ads, and there's just all this damage going out. It's definitely a Melee's best friend. Melee are going to love that fight.
Well, it's a good thing we have more Melee now in our Melee with the new, with all the new classes and stuff like that, or new specs. With Survival and with Demon Hunter, get some more Melee in there.
I'm going to play Melee Fire Mage.
Melee Fire Mage? I think that's the new way to play it anyway.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. Might as well.
Trying to make sure everybody has a melee spec, and fire is going to be the melee spec.
Right.
And it's going to be actually making a campfire. Yeah, exactly. Why waste my time trying to find stuff to stand in while I'm in range? I'll just go into melee. There will definitely be something to stand in
everything there.
Yeah, cool. And I will probably bring some weird range mechanic into the melee. Hit the hard mode button. Let's really give our raiders a challenge here, guys.
I feel so bad for your raid team right now.
All I'm saying is that I feel like Asparagus Initiative was world first caliber team merely because we were able to kill bosses with me on the roster, and I feel like that really ups the difficulty.
We felt a lot like that too. So
yeah, you guys should We deserve a round of applause.
No, not gonna get it. No, I don't think so.
It's just during those farm nights, I had to give the healers something to do. Darius, I know I was doing it for you, bud. I know it got boring. I was doing it for you.
Oh boy. All right. Anything else, Alpha, before we move on, fellas? All right, then let's move on to some Q&A.
We've got mail.
We do. And if you have a question about anything for us, about rating or anything else, just let us know. We'll try to answer it on the show. You can email us at convertraid@gmail.com, or you can call our raid line, 612-787-RAID. All that kind of good stuff. And the first one is from Sam. And this is, he sent in a question, and I'm going to paraphrase this for you guys and throw this to you. This question is something discussed by my guild. For Legion, the developers have said they would like tanks to move back to threat rather than having damage just below DPS and healing just below healers. However, my opinion, being a tank, was that threat was very stale gameplay. So, what should tank gameplay consist of, as far as you guys think for going forward into Legion? And Shark, you've played tanks before.
Yeah.
What do you think? What's fun gameplay for tanks?
I think for me one of my problems is I always played tank as a DPS. I always had too much of a DPS mentality going to tank. Like Vengeance was my favorite time ever, where I could purposefully get hit. I know there were times where I'd turn my back on the boss or constantly hit my sit down macro to get crit so I could do extra damage because I knew my healers had my back. But even in the high end gameplay, I mean, the world first tanks were trying to push their characters to the limit, take as much possible damage as they could, but still mitigating the damage they needed to in order to do the damage that they needed to get the boss down, which was interesting to me. But I feel like what makes more sense lore-wise, the way that they seem to be really concentrating on the story, and especially with the specific classes, that everything in your class should feel very much in your class.
Like
blood decays,
like the fantasy side of things.
The fantasy of the class. Blood decays should feel like blood decays, and shouldn't feel like a frost decay or not a holy decay. Your protection warriors should be protection warriors, not fury warriors. So I feel like the best way to do it is maybe not threat, but survivability. Putting specific mechanics into boss fights where tanks have to be aware of things that are going to happen, be aware, know when they need to hit their active mitigations, know when they need to hit their cooldowns, and making the fights difficult to survive for a tank so that you can't just sit there and make sure you have all the threat in the world. And as long as you have a good enough healer, you can basically just white damage the boss, or
right.
or just blow all your cooldowns to do as much damage as you can at one time. To be able to force tanks to have to spread their cooldowns out. I don't know. I feel like that would be interesting gameplay for me. At least it has been in the past when I've been playing.
Kind of that active mitigation and really trying to learn your cooldowns and stuff like that.
Learn your limits. And, I liked the idea of Vengeance to some point. And of course, that's coming as a tank. A lot of people didn't like that. But having an extra thing, like if I can take a little more damage and I get a buff out of it, that was kind of nice. But the problem is it's not what tanking should be. I feel like the devs made that pretty clear when they made the change and took Vengeance away. That tanking should be about mitigating damage. How much damage can you mitigate? So I feel like it has to do with boss mechanics, having boss mechanics and then answers to those mechanics.
Sure.
And figuring out exactly what buttons you need to push when, so you're not just, gathering threat.
Right.
That would be my opinion on what I feel like tank gameplay should be.
Cool. And I know, Tattva, you've played some tank before, and you've played Bear, at least on the Legion Alpha. Maybe
a little bit
before.
I think I played Bear for 9 years, I think. So just a little while.
Just a little while. So what makes tanking fun for you?
Like right along with what Shark was saying, like just that the fantasy of the class and stuff. And like one of the old favorite things that I think used to set good tanks apart from mediocre versus apart from new tanks, or however you want to look at it, was it actually had to do with threat. I mean, I know it's kind of a funny mechanic, but I mean, that's like, to me, that's part of the fantasy. Like, I'm here to protect you. All this stuff just showed up. I need to grab it, like threat is part of it. And so like, whether it's a 5-man or a raid situation, just like setting that pace, like allowing your DPS to be able to like push their DPS to the limit. Like, it used to be a hard thing to do. Like, if you had some really powerful, some strong DPSers in your group, like you had to work, to keep that boss on you. And like, I mean, even after like the old days of like wait for sunders and all that kind of stuff. But even after that, it was just like you pop lust right at the beginning and you go, or heroism. Sorry, my apologies. Anyways, and then they're just blowing it up. Like, I've raided with Tovo forever, and he's always done an insane amount of damage. And so, I mean, even with misdirect, like it was always, like I based my performance on whether I could keep the mobs and the boss and everything contained, and off of the DPS, because they were letting it loose, and so that was always a fun part. And like, even in 5-mans, it was just a fun thing just to be able to like, just be like, here we go, let's do it. And just pull it,
I kind of miss those days of being a hunter and really playing with threat a lot. I mean, you can't really do that nowhere near as much as you could back then. I mean, that was the hunter's job, right? The hunter's job was to play with aggro the entire time. So if the tank was taking too much heat, you'd kite them a little bit, and then you'd throw it back to the tank, and then all that kind of good stuff. And so it was kind of like this back and forth between hunters and tanks, and tons of fun. I think that maybe tanks should do, if you really want to add more to the tanks duties for
duty.
Yeah. for the dungeons or whatever, maybe try some CC something. I mean, that's the only thing that I could really think to make work.
Well, and that's what let me see, where was it? Somewhere early in the Jim Z. Locke mentioned fun tank play is boss control. And he makes a good point. I like that idea that having to control the boss, doing a shield bash here or there to interrupt a stun or whatever abilities, protecting your fellow raiders. I'd never liked the idea of, and this is coming from a mage as well. When I was playing mage, I didn't like, and back when they were doing, it was about threat. I didn't like, having to back down on my threat so that the tank could get it back, waiting for sunders, that kind of stuff. I really like, from a DPS standpoint, the point now that as long as the tank has taunted, he has the threat, and I can unleash ungodly fury upon mine enemies.
Wow.
It's something that I can hit my potion, I can pre-pot, I can blow my starter and do 5 bajillion DPS. And at that point, my only job is to do as much damage as possible while taking as little damage as possible. That's fun for DPS. So by going back to a threat-based system, I'm afraid that they're going to, if it goes so far back that we have to dial back our DPS, I think that would be a mistake.
Oh, sure.
Well, I mean, that's part of what I was talking about. Like what sets apart a good tank? Like, that would be one thing. If you have a tank that can just let you unload, like, that's the tank's job. Whether it's generating that threat, because they all can, and it's just whether the tank's doing the right rotation or not. And that's a way that they can improve themselves, allowing, I mean, a lot of people don't view it that way. Like, there is that tank mentality out there. I've ran dungeons before where you have tanks saying, oh, you pulled off me, you tank it, and just like, no, like, like literally your job is like, you are called a tank. That's
you pull it, you tank it.
Right.
That's
yeah,
my
that kind of
thing
thing
to say in 5-mans. Right. I'm that guy.
Well, but back when threat was a real thing, I mean, sometimes you just had to let one go because I mean, if you have a big huge mob of whatever, it doesn't matter. And somebody's like, nope, I'm just going to hit this one that you're not hitting, and I'm going to pull a lot of threat and blah, blah, blah. But today, it's not that way. Today, it's just, you hit them all, and they're all yours.
In the alpha, it's felt a little different, actually.
Oh, really?
Like,
cool.
It feels like I've been having to work harder to maintain threat on things. I mean, that's because, like, damage is kind of out of control right now. But, I mean, it's fun. Like, I view that as a challenge. Like, if there's mobs going everywhere, I'm having to taunt and charge over here and do that. Like, that's fun. That's fun for me. Like, tanking. Yeah. Like, I mean, I get joy out of having to, do better, basically. But yeah, I don't know. It's like your job is to set up the rest of the group. Like that's your job. And so whether it's generating that high amount of threat to allow your DPS to go crazy, or even like movement, like and stuff like that. Like you've always had that tank where he's just like running around everywhere, and you're just like, I just cast Flame Strike, or what are you doing? Like just
right
knowing when to move.
Frickin' crystal.
Yeah.
All of my damage comes from the crystal. I'll drop it, and the tank will run the boss across the other side of the room. And it's like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's exactly what it's like. But my counterpoint though is, let's say you have a newer tank, or you're gearing up even a newer tank, and then you have a buddy that's trying to help carry you through. That is this all-powerful mage, right? And if the buddy is doing their rotation and doing the damage they should be doing, but that tank, even though at that level he is adequately geared to tank, but that threat's always, it's a weird problem, I feel like, to have, where if you take threat out of the equation and just say, I hit taunt and now he is attacking me, and that's the way it's going to be, that tank's gear is still going to be something that is a challenge for him to overcome.
Sure.
But it affects nobody else except for maybe the healers. But the tank has to do his rotation in this. In the other scenario, no matter how well that tank plays, he's not going to be able to out-threat that mage. Possibly. That's if everybody is doing everything right, the mage is still going to pull threat. Does that make sense? So I feel like there needs to be,
I disagree.
Sort of
like all that stuff's baked in. Like, I mean, that's part of the learning process too. Like if the mage does pull, it's just like, yeah, you have taunt to pull him back. You have these abilities, and like, I mean, carrying anyone, whether it's a DPS, healer, or otherwise, they still need to learn their job. And so mistakes are part of that. So you can't get better without making the mistakes. Like if you just make it super easy on everyone, if there's no progression, if there's no,
then it's easy, and nobody learns, and nobody learns anything, and therefore everybody's just like, whatever. It is what it is. Yeah, you want to make it at least a little bit difficult, I think.
Yeah.
So
I see your point and don't disagree with it wholeheartedly, but I just feel like there's a better system other than threat. But just I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe half-heartedly. Yeah, I disagree partially. But I wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be the end of the world if they went to a threat-based system. I just don't think I would prefer it. That's all.
Gotcha.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that that's the only system. It's definitely part of a bigger whole: survivability, threat generation, your own personal DPS.
I do like giving tanks responsibility, though, and giving them something to do rather than to just, kind of sit there and make sure that they're,
Taunt on X number of stacks.
Yeah, taunt on
that
3.
That's not really that awesome.
It needs
of a
to be
mechanic,
more complex than that. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely does. Need something a little bit more than that. I don't know. All right. Anything else on this one? Because otherwise, I think we're probably just going to go into the Battlenet news. Yes. Now, this is where we take a look at the big headlines around the rest of the Blizzard universe. And up first, let's talk about Hearthstone, because Hearthstone, they came out with a new way to play. Today, there was a post about this. Darius, what's going on here with Hearthstone?
So Hearthstone's getting a new play mode. It's called Standard.
Mm-hmm.
It uses core cards plus only the most recent release cards. So it's like they do this in Magic, the Gathering, and a few other things. You can only use the cards, like the most recent cards. And sometimes they go back a couple expansions, but it gets rid of old cards, maybe cards that are no longer balanced. It allows them to have consistency across the games. It helps new players. All that kind of stuff. It's going to be in ranked, casual, and friendly, but not arena or adventures.
Right. And so what they're going to do basically is they're going to take the current calendar year and the previous calendar year. All those cards are good to go for this new standard play stuff. And then everything else, if you're playing standard play, you can't play the old cards. Mm-hmm. So that's the way it goes. And then they're also going to have a wild play mode. You could play mode wild, where it's like normal. It's like how you play now. So all the cards are available. Everything's good to go here. And there's some other stuff along the way. Shark, I know that you play a bit of Hearthstone.
I do.
Yes. What do you think about this new way of playing?
I think they had to do it, and they had to do something like this. And I think the way in which they did it was probably, I've thought of every scenario. It's hard because this is new news and it's just right in your face. And the first thing that you recognize is my favorite cards are going away, right? That's what you feel like. You feel like, for example, Shielded Minibot, gone. Yeah. Mech Mages, gone. All the Goblins and Gnomes mech stuff, gone.
Yeah.
Sludge Belcher, gone. Lotheb, gone. Dr. Boom, gone.
Right.
From standard play.
So from standard play, they're taking away all of the Curse of Naxxramas
of Naxxramas and Goblins and Gnomes for the first version of standard play, right? And then everything else will go through its turn. Standard play is only going to be the most recent cards from the last, I think, couple expansions. You talked about the calendar year.
Right.
And it might, I don't know exactly how they're going to do it. They might tweak it here and there. But the point is, it'll be the most recent cards and the basic set. So the basic and classic cards, from my understanding, are always going to be
correct
in standard.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And then cards from the last couple expansions or so.
Right.
But that's what you feel like. But I feel like they need to do it. I feel like power creep was becoming way too big of a problem, because they were just, pushing out cards anyway because of power creep. And what I mean by power creep is that some cards were coming out with the same value and maybe the same health and attack value, but one card would be a 9 or a 3 mana 3/3, and one card would be a 3 mana 3/3 with taunt, right? So the power creep of the one with taunt, you get an extra thing for less. So they were phasing out the other cards because why would you use those cards when you have this card that's better, right?
Right.
So now they're just saying, we want to always have a new meta, always have something new and challenging that we have to think about in the standard decks. Right, you can't just build a deck that works and have it forever, and people they have to constantly change the game for that meta. They're just going to move that out and be like, if you want to play it in Wild, that's fine.
Yep.
But this meta is always going to be changing. It's always going to be new cards leaving and cards coming in. Fluid and alive. And I think it's exactly what the way Ben Brode sounded was. He was like, this is a great game, but I don't want it to be a great game that lasts for 2 years. I want it to be a great game that lasts for 200 years, Well, and that's what they're trying to do.
Right. And some of the other stuff that they're doing too. And Tattva, I'm not sure how much Hearthstone you're playing right now. Darius, I know that you're pretty cash about Hearthstone just in general. Yeah. Are you playing a lot, Tat, or no?
I've been so busy with everything else, Alpha, and
you've been playing Alpha like a demon. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. What can you expect? No, that's cool. But one of the things that's happening is that these older cards, these non-standard cards, if you will, the ones that are, like Curse of Naxxramas and Goblins and Gnomes, these are not even going to be available anymore. They are not going to be available as standalone packs or anything like that. No. You'll be able to, but the one thing that they will do is you'll be able to craft them. So if you really want them for wild decks or whatever, you can actually go through and you can craft them, and that seems like a pretty good way to do it, because then that way you're just saying, hey, you need a couple of cards? Okay, here, craft them. That's
and you
cool.
can still buy decks right now. They're not off the market yet. So if there's
this is coming
certain
in
cards
spring.
that you want. Yeah, certain cards that you want, save up some money and buy some decks from that thing. Or if you don't have Naxxramas yet, for example, make sure you pick up Naxxramas. You can buy Naxxramas with gold. Grind some gold up and buy because all there's no chance to that. You just basically buy the cards.
Yep.
Make sure you have them for especially Naxxramas. Those cards some of them are so good. And I think Wild will be a lot of fun. I think they will have some non-official tournaments with Wild. We'll still get to see these old decks, these cards that we love, that'll be played. Just the official tournaments are all going to be standard.
Right. And so it'll be cool. And plus you get more deck slots. They finally figured that one out. So now you can get 18 deck slots, which is really great because I'm going to need them if I want to play both Wild and Standard. And then also rewards are going to be based off of your highest rank, not off of both ranks. So they're going to be separate ranks for Wild and for Standard. And whichever one you get higher rank on, you will get those rewards. It won't be both. That's the only thing.
Mouse Divided says something interesting in the chat room. I'm not 100% sure he's right, but if he is, it's awesome. He says, even better, you can dust the not so good Nax cards. So apparently as they move, because right now you can't dust cards that you buy or that from adventures, to my knowledge. You can't dust them.
You might be able to. I don't know. Maybe. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I know that they have. This just came down. If you can
dust them, then that would be awesome, because he said, I'm looking at you, my Exna. Like, that's absolutely, that's a legendary card that is garbage. I would dust that instantly and buy something else that I wanted or needed. So.
Well, and all these things are, this just came out today. So I'm sure that there's still going to be some discovery on it. I know that there's an FAQ on the Hearthstone site, along with a big, huge post about all of this stuff. So make sure to check it out there. And there's some other news in Heroes. Who wants this one? Who likes wizards?
Darius is back talking me in chat, so throw it to him, because he's like, Shark talks too much. I never get to say anything.
I did not say any of those words.
Liar.
So Darius, what's happening in Heroes?
We have a new hero, Li Ming. She is the new hero. She's the wizard from Diablo.
Yep. And total glass cannon.
Yeah, she's much more so than a Jaina or something like that.
Yeah, the way I look at it, she has magic missiles, arcane orb, and a teleport. She's a friggin' mage. She's a WoW mage. It's fine. That's good. But so she's gonna be like this DPS awesomeness, right? Is that the way it's playing out?
Yeah, it's just pure DPS. Just don't even get looked at funny by anybody, because you'll die.
No, I don't know how this is going to play in the meta currently. Shark, do you have any thoughts on that? I know you play a lot of heroes.
I do. I played her today. I think that my prediction is that she will absolutely find play, especially in top Master League and pro games. She's a high skill cap character, but man, she can throw out some damage. Because the important thing to remember with her is it's not just she has a cool kit with some cool talents and some cool spells. Her trait is that every time she assists in a kill, either kills someone or assists in a kill, her cooldowns are reset. When you have a 10-second cooldown on one of your huge damage dealing abilities, and you use it to kill someone, and it instantly resets, and you use it to kill someone else, it's incredible what she can do if played properly and given the right opportunities.
Unless she's sitting waiting to respawn.
Right, exactly, and that's what I'm saying. She's very high skill cap, not only because she is so squishy, but also because it's hard to hit. All of her abilities are skill shots.
Sure. Sure.
And her Q ability is like 3 skill shots in a row. You have to line up these 3 missiles to hit, or 5 missiles if you take a talent later, to hit a specific target, or to go off in different directions and hit different targets. It's really interesting the way she plays. I was able to do a significant amount of damage with her as long as I was hanging back. I don't really auto attack with her much.
Wow.
I was just able to. I would poke.
So you just sneak in and you.
Her abilities are longer distance than an auto attack, so I just kind of stand back and shoot her abilities. And if I could get in for a few auto attacks, or maybe auto attack some of the creeps, I would do that. But for the most part, I just sit back and try to kill somebody with my abilities and be like, oh, reset. Okay, we'll kill somebody else.
Right. For the other guys, what do you normally play? Are you guys when you play heroes, do you normally play like a tanky type, or do you have like a role that you generally play, Darius?
I usually play support, a healer, something like that, like Lieutenant Morales. I really enjoyed that. Cool. Sometimes I'll play a DPS class, like a Jaina. I'll probably check out Li Ming. That sounds like a lot of fun to me.
Cool. Tat, how about you? When you play heroes,
I love Thrall and WoW, and I love them in heroes. Like, probably my most 2-played champions are Zagara and Thrall. I mean, and again, I've been super busy lately, so I haven't had a chance to really play a lot of heroes lately. But yeah, I like to get in there, and I'm a very aggressive player. So
Thrall is really strong right now too. Thrall is a good hero right now.
See, and I love the big, like the warrior classes and the tank types and stuff like that, where you can just get in there and just brawl. Mm-hmm. That's always fun for me. Like Johanna, when she first came out, man. Yeah. Oh, she was so awesome. I haven't played her in a while.
Have you played the new Leoric skin yet? Speaking of brawler tanks.
No, that's out now, right?
Darth Leoric, yeah, it's pretty great. It's pretty fun. It's stuff. Really cool looking. Cool. I love it. I don't know if it's worth $15, but
of course it is.
I mean, it is.
Of course,
Darius would spend $15 for a future opportunity to buy something from Blizzard. Like, he wouldn't even get anything. He'd just be like, $15 to be put on a list of possibly buying something later. Yeah, let's do it.
I would buy a transmog ring in WoW from Blizzard if they had it.
Well, you bought all the hats. Why not?
Those hats are kind of cool still.
Are they?
I mean, they're kind of cool. They were cool for like a day. They could be cooler.
Right.
Probably.
Are they?
Uh-huh.
I don't
know. All right. Well, let's wrap that up. Let's get out of here. Unless anybody else has anything else that they want to talk about news-wise. I think we've kind of covered the week. I mean, it's been a slow week.
It's February 2nd.
Yeah.
And there's no Overwatch.
I know.
Can we get it together?
We talked about this last week.
I'm done.
Come on.
They're coming
out.
Get
it together.
They're coming out in the next few weeks.
That's what they say.
They're actually Overwatch, 2-3 weeks away from Overwatch coming back, and we're gonna see a new game, a new type of game, and some new maps and some I don't know what else. But progression system.
It's just gonna go live some night. They're not gonna say anything to anybody. It's just going to be like 3 a.m. and it's going to go live. No one will notice for like 24 hours.
Every day I go and I click on that damn icon and I hit play. I'm like,
Tovo.
No, not today.
Tovo will be the only one that notices.
Not today.
I'm not going to be happy until they create a character based on me for that game. I feel like it needs to happen, Blizzard.
They have that. Torbjorn is based off of you.
Is it Torbjorn?
Torbjorn.
Molten Core!
That's right. It's based off of you. And I want them to get more people in, too, because, I really want to get more people in there and really test that sucker, so.
Yeah, sick of playing against the same 9 people over and over again.
Yep. It does make it a little stale. So, all right, let's get to some 5-star reviews from the iTunes, those that gave us 5 stars on iTunes. And Darius, this is your job.
Yeah, we had 2 this week. We had Aphex Wolf and Hemora?
Yeah.
Hemora. We'll go with that. Hemora 325.
All right. Sounds good. And any shout-outs this week, fellas? Anyone?
I can take a stab at this.
Go ahead.
It's just basically a shout-out to Blizzard. I recently had probably one of the highlights of my WoW career. Well, has happened recently. Can't really talk about it too much, but it was awesome to be able to do what we did. You guys will be hearing about it in about a week or so, but it was amazing. It was a lot of fun. But keep your eye out for that.
He's being cagey, everybody. He's being cagey.
Blizzard.
Just a little bit.
Look out.
So vague.
Look out.
They're designing a character in Overwatch after you. That's what it is, isn't it? They're going for you and not
naming
me.
one.
Yeah, the beanie onesie character. Beanie onesie. Maniac.
Oh, man.
No.
Anybody else shout outs this week?
Done.
Anyone? All right. I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat room. As always, thanks so much for dropping by. You guys at home, on the road, wherever you are, thanks for taking us with you all the time. We cannot do this show without you guys. Thanks for the questions, and thanks for, hanging out with us. And you can hang out with us in Discord, too. Discord.converttoraid.com. Come join us. We'd love it. And you can join the conversation other ways as well. Let me get to that, but first I'm going to bail on the music, and then I'm just going to play, let's see, I'm going to play that one. There we go. You can email us at converttoraid@gmail.com. You can call us and leave comments and questions on our raid line, 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. You can follow us on Twitter at converttoraid or individually. Isn't that right, Darius?
Yes, you can follow Pat Crane. He is at Patch Crane with a K. You can follow me. I am at Boredmind. You can. Giz was not on the show.
No,
you can follow Sharku. He is Sharku_CTR. And you can follow Tattva at
LOS_gaming.
That one, right?
That's the one. It's my bad for copying old show notes.
We could shout out Giz.
I had to check real quick.
Gizmo's at Gizmozord as well, so you go.
I had to look.
Mix at Mick Montgomery. Who else? Tovo is at LOS_gaming as well. We forget anybody? I don't know. I think that's it. But you guys can join the Bazooba Nation by heading over to converttoraid.com, where we have show downloads, forums, videos, audios, tons of links for Raiders, and so much more. Our guild stuff is over there as well. You can join us in Discord, like I said. And for the live shows, you can head over to converttoraid.com/live. We're also on iTunes and Google Play and blah, blah, blah. We're on the internet. This is where the show is. It's on the internet. Congratulations. Congratulations, you're on the internet.
The World Wide Web.
That's right. We're also on alphageekradio.com, and the Convert to Raid podcast is produced and distributed by Signals Media. Make sure to check out all of our friends at the Signals Media All-Star Network at signalsmedia.com. That's it for the show. Yay, guys!
Yay!
Tattva, was this your first show since the holiday break? I think it was.
I think so. The other one got canceled.
Yes, it did, because there was
nothing going on.
You
didn't want to see my face.
No, it wasn't you. It wasn't you. It was me.
It wasn't you.
All right, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We'll see you on our next show next week at a regular time, Tuesday, 9 p.m. Central, for all the guys on Convert to Raid. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.